One. Yeah.
Welcome to the 3 for 3 podcast.
Hey.
How's everybody doing? It's Paul Nelson, Frank the Quiet Assassin LaFada,
Or Frank the Tank. however you want.
and we have Alex the Podfather Gullet.
That's right.
This, this is the only podcast that tells you how much we like a player or team and then immediately picks the other player or team. So
100%.
Grab the cannoli.
I was
listen,
sabotaging you two. That's what I was setting you up for.
Is that what
And it
you were
worked because your face was working.
doing? Listen, it works every time.
That was
Today,
a good one.
fellas, we got a great show today. For the people out there, again, we're all about the people. We're going to be covering college football playoff,
Boom.
the results.
Boom.
Two of us are very excited to talk about this. One of us, not going to say any names, is not. We're also going to talk about NFL end-of-year predictions and some
Come on.
award predictions.
It's been a good year.
It has been.
We're going to see if we can continue to beat Uncle Sam. Last I checked, we're up
Got you, fool.
2-1.
Oh, I'm not being funny. I talked to him, and you got to hear some of the things he told
He's
me. Wait till
salty.
no, you
The
don't even
captain
know.
of the coin.
He took it personal. That's
Did
all
he?
I'm telling you.
Everybody's a person. How else can you take it?
Personnel.
Don't take it personal.
And then finally, last show, we gave out some marriage advice.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Did your
fellas.
wife listen?
She did. She did. She listened, and she immediately said, that was nonsense. That's nonsense. What are you talking
That's
about?
crazy.
And I
My
was-
wife was like, "You knew I'd listen, right?" I was like, "Yes."
Fast forward the rest of the show, but listen to that advice.
My wife said, that's great. Put it into action.
That's what it is to be a husband. We talk a good
yes,
game.
That's great.
We
Listen,
think we do it well.
that's why we give the advice out to other people.
Yes.
Today, we're going to double down and give parenting advice.
Boom.
Yeah. Listen, it's the way it is.
Yep.
Normally, we'd ask how your week's going, but we're going to start the show a little different. There was a big situation last Monday night. Bills Bengals. All of us were watching. It was amazing. It was tragic. It was one of the scariest things we ever seen. Of course, we're talking about the Damar Hamlin hit. The man died on the field and had to be
Crazy.
resuscitated back to life. Fellas, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking when you saw that?
Man, I know we were in my living room, and my wife and I were watching it. My cousin was with us, and when it happened, it was like I didn't even see it happen on the field, like real time. And then they showed the replay of it, and it showed him fall down. But as a football fan, we watch football every week, and you see injuries happen, and you're like, okay, you take a 2-minute timeout, boom, they move him off the field, whether it's cart, whatever it is, and you continue to play. But I noticed it in real time as we're watching it, the emotions and stuff, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, this isn't good. This is crazy. Absolute craziest thing I've ever seen on national TV, primetime football game. It was wild.
Yeah.
Frank?
Initial reaction was the way he fell was so awkward and so non-traditional to every injury I've ever seen on a football field that it seemed to I didn't know what was going on. You just don't know what's going on. And then you see them, they're still out there and they're going and my son was looking at me and he was like, is he really hurt? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like you don't know. I mean, we're not there. We don't.
Right.
And then after the 4th and 5th commercial break, you're just like, and players are crying and upset, and you don't. And then now you hear CPR, and then so that was initial reaction. Now long term, I was thinking like on the way here, I was like, in thought process of, it's gonna be the tragic moment of this is gonna stand out in the most memorable moments ever in sports in my mind that I've ever watched.
Yeah,
And I mean, I'm talking
agree.
about great scenarios. And this is going to stand with them. That's something I'm never going to forget. Like, I'll never forget LeBron's block. I'm never going to forget this.
Yeah, we always talk about, again, in history class, we always talk about famous and infamous. Infamous is famous for a negative reason.
Yeah.
So this is definitely going to be an infamous event. We were all texting back and forth like crazy going, what could it be? Is it ACL? This is a head injury. It doesn't look like a head injury. And then they showed the replay of him getting up and then going down. And I think we were all like, he got hit in the chest. Like, this could be something different. And what does this mean going forward? It could mean a lot of different things. Are we going to start talking about different equipment? Are we going to start saying, hey, all football players should be wearing flak jackets? Maybe there needs to be. We've always looked at the helmet as this is something that needs to progress, and technology needs to catch up with it. Maybe we need to start looking at shoulder pads and other things too.
Yeah, it was wild, and coming off of that, the news today was he's talking movement in his feet, movement in his hands.
FaceTime the team.
He FaceTimed the team. I think
Yeah.
his first question they came out and was like the first thing he wrote was, "What was the score? Did we win?
Who won the game?
Who won the game?"
The man
Yeah.
wrote the very first thing he wrote was, "Who won the game?" That just shows you. I mean, these guys are supreme athletes too.
My wife told me today. She was like, what I take from this is it could have been the most tragic thing, but now there's going to be an abundance of blessing. You look at the $6 million
Yeah.
raised. You look at what the team's going to be fighting for. You look at DeMar. They expect a good recovery. Man, the family coming together. So much tightness. And I remember, like, with my dad being sick recently, there was so much togetherness. And I could see that happening, not just in the Bills organization, but sports as a whole. Like, I think we all got to look at it in a different light. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a brotherhood in the NFL, and you could tell everybody who spoke on it. It's amazing how it quickly turns into this is just a game. There's so much, bigger things than this.
Yeah.
So it was a very tragic event that we hope to see progress into something else. And who knows how the rest of the season plays out. Who knows how the playoffs plays out. But I think, the biggest thing is he's doing better. He's progressing, which is a great thing. Now, thoughts and prayers still continue.
For sure, absolutely.
You always want to see players progress, and we love watching this game. We absolutely love watching this game. We look forward to it. Fans are invested. Players are invested. There were some other games that we're going to get to, especially the college football playoff games.
Man, what a weekend.
Now,
what a crazy weekend.
Now, the first thing I would just like to say is this was the greatest weekend of college football that I can remember in a long time. So it's an amazing game. Comes down to a field goal kick by Noah Ruggles. It was a 50-yard kick. You feel bad for the kick, but I want to know how Frank feels now that he can finally understand why Alabama should have been in the whole time.
Come on, Boo. Tell us.
This 100%.
100% they should have been in.
100%.
To the nation.
I'm going to keep score on that one.
Ohio State belonged in the top 4. They took this team that was like stone cold lead lock. Like they were huge point favorites, and
14-point favorites before the game started.
And they didn't deserve to win the game. The Ohio State choked.
Wow.
Ooh.
You watched
choked.
a different game than I did.
I didn't. I watched a defensive back fall flat on his face and allow us, I think, a 50 to 70-yard touchdown pass that wasn't like, Brock Purdy could have made that pass.
Well, that's saying something, Of course he could have.
Mr. Irrelevant could have made that pass.
Mr. Relevant could have made that pass.
So when I look at plays like that, the guy missed the field goal, but the defense also was shredded like cheese down the stretch, and it wasn't that the guy was making outstanding plays. People were just open, and they just got tight. But they're kids though, so stuff like that's going to happen. It's a 19-year-old kid kicking a 50-yard field goal to go to the national championship game, and he locked up and pushed it. Like, am I mad? No, I understand.
I have a question for Alex.
Go ahead.
Was that the greatest timeout of all time? By Kirby Smart. That
It
was
had to be. Call the timeout, ice the kid. Crazy game. I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'll tell you really quick. Ohio State played the best game they could possibly play.
Yeah,
and still lost that game.
But you know what? Marvin Harrison him getting hurt at halftime.
Yeah,
third quarter. 1 minute left in the third quarter.
It completely changed the game. That's when the game completely flipped.
I think it was very similar to Jameson Williams going down last championship game against Georgia, where you go, as soon as you have the guy go down, that offense just became
Yeah.
one-dimensional. And listen, I know what everybody's going to say. I know you had everybody going on there like, hey, I thought they played defense in the SEC. Hey, what happened there? What happened to all the defense? Listen, there were some great defensive efforts in that game. There were. This is just the way college football is now.
Well, and there was a
college football is now, hey, you better drop 41. If you don't drop 35 to 41, you're not winning against big boys.
So out of all the bowl games that I've seen so far, the quarterback for Ohio State played like the game of games. He played probably hands down. I have never seen him play a better game ever. Not one time. I'd like to see any stats where he played a better game. Rushing, making things happen, passing. He had dots. It was all over the field. He was killing them.
Dot him up. Dot him up.
You know, that's a point for you, buddy. Dots. That was good. He played an amazing game. We were all again chatting about it, but it's funny because you have, you know, another quarterback played a heck of a game. That's Bryce Young for Alabama. You know,
He did against an inferior team
Roll Tide.
because he was where they belong.
that's wow.
You are where you belong
against-
when you're playing
yes.
inferior competition.
And honestly,
I love
his
your
rec-
series.
His receivers also did a great job too. So
Yeah.
we'll give it both ways. Those young receivers, they're going to be a problem.
Can we call it a Frankenism? Like
Frankenism.
It's a Frankenism. Like
I'll own it.
yeah, you should own that. Like,
Anything with the Frank in it. I
Yeah,
love
a
it.
Frankenism.
Frankenism, Frankfurters.
I don't know.
They're all down my alley.
Yeah, Frankenstein. You're the original.
Yeah,
Call you Mary Shelley, baby.
Frank the Tank.
Now, all my head kept going to while I was watching these games is, man, are these games up there with like the all time games?
No.
And I remember when I think I was right out of college, my first year teaching, that Texas game where Michael Crabtree
Yeah,
catches
it's a
on the
great
sideline
game. Yeah.
and wins it, and you go, what?
That was crazy.
What did I just see? Did that just really just happen? And I think both C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, and the other quarterback we're going to talk here with the TCU and Michigan, Max Duggan, they all kind of solidified themselves as, hey, what a way to go out for Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we're gonna have fun debating, talking about who's the number one pick between those two guys. Other final takeaways from the Ohio State Georgia game. No, we good?
Yeah, no, final takeaways. Yeah, I think I said it already. Ohio State played their best game. Marvin Harrison Jr. going out in the third quarter did hurt them. But those quarterbacks, think about what just happened. I put a few stats down. Stetson Bennett was 23 of 34 with 398 yards and 3 TDs, 1 INT. CJ Stroud was 23 for 34, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They are legit. That's what you want to see.
And it's two quarterbacks whose style could not be. CJ Stroud is a physical specimen who can go out there and beat you a lot of different ways. Stetson Bennett was a Georgia walk-on, went to junior college, came back, beat out several different prospects who were much higher rated than him, and just became this, I don't know, little engine that could for Georgia, a little bulldog that could.
And ain't no bum program either. Like he was playing the SEC, and you rise into those ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I think we saw it. I don't remember a game where you're like, Stetson Bennett has to win the game for him,
No.
but he had to because that run game was
Yes.
doing nothing.
And they asked,
I watched it. It was C.J. Stroud had to win the game for them, and he did until
he
the
didn't.
last touchdown. Yeah,
Until he didn't. Now, the other game that was played earlier that day, TCU Michigan, that was another amazing game. And it probably shouldn't have been that close. I mean, Michigan had this epic comeback. And then so my question, Frank, what went well for TCU?
quarterback play and advantageous defense.
I see you, kid. But we're not going to keep giving you points for you pause and looking at me, okay?
I am personally
That-
writing that stuff down. I was actually thinking in my head, and that was the word I came up with. And the point was that I really believe the difference in the game was the pick sixes. So what went well was the defensive scoring because they needed every point. And if they wouldn't have scored, if they would have tripped up, they'd have fell at 20, and one of those was a field goal. Michigan's in the finals.
See, I saw it differently though.
Okay.
I did because what I saw was I saw TCU run for 263 total yards on 40 attempts. Michigan could not stop the run,
And that's I mean, they ran
and
the
that's
ball.
crazy.
Michigan was ranked 5th in total defense.
in the whole nation.
They did.
They were
but
second
Ohio
in
State
rush
ran the ball
defense,
on too, though.
only behind Georgia.
And what's wild is, Frank, what you were talking about is the quarterback. Yeah. What we saw with TCU is just amazing. Like,
Absolutely.
he might be the best quarterback. You know, Max Duggan might be the best quarterback at running the read option. And it's this wild. He almost holds the ball at the mesh point as he's reading it and holds it like a half a second longer than he should.
Yeah, like
where
too
you're going,
long.
Yeah, where you're going, he's going to get killed. This idiot is, okay. No, he's actually running up the sideline now. So it's,
I agree.
He might be, and he's reading the edge, he's reading the C gap, and he's going, nope, gotcha, and then pulling it or giving it to the back who's going up. Now, Michigan, the flip side of this, Michigan, 3 trips to the red zone, 3 points.
I'm sorry, that was a touchdown.
That was.
that long one that kid caught.
Yes.
and he caught the ball in the end zone, and they fumbled the very next play.
Fumbled the next
Nightmare.
play.
And TCU got the ball back, and that was a tone setter. That was a touchdown. Refs blew that up.
They did, and then I'm not going to blame too much on the rest because you had the ball at the 1. Just make the play happen.
You have.
You just got to run the ball in the
A TD is a TD.
Yeah,
Give
50
him the
yard field
tutty,
goal,
man.
or I'm running into the end zone. Like, you just got to run that ball in the end zone. The game's different.
Listen, never blame the officials. Okay, never blame the officials. It's what I tell my ball players all the time. We have a certain amount of time in baseball. We have a certain amount of outs that the officials give us. If we waste some of those trips, I don't want to hear about one call that an ump made that was wrong.
Absolutely.
Same thing with football. Now, was the call a touch? It should have been a touchdown.
That was a touchdown.
It absolutely should have. But you also have to go ahead. You're on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
Don't fumble the ball.
I think we all know that things happen, and you can't get that big of a call that wrong on this stage. Like, I understand some wrong calls; they're going to make mistakes. They reviewed this one and still called it not a touchdown.
I understand. What does that official have to do with the fumble?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
zero.
That's still on.
Except
there.
that play should have never happened.
Same thing. I put the same emphasis. Like, you can't blame the officials. Don't blame the kicker on the last second kick.
Yeah.
You had 70 other plays during
Right.
the game that you lost.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
that's his job.
I know, and he messed up. People also miss layups. It's a life.
LeBron.
Doesn't miss
Here we go.
layups.
Here we go. For those of you guys watching at home, that was a LeBron reference before a Cowboys reference. So we're giving a point to Frank.
LeBron.
You should have said, how about them Cowboys? You'd have got a point.
Not yet.
If you are still keeping score
We're
at home,
talking about winners. That's why you can't say not yet.
Before we go, so far, show winners. Show winners has been one for our stat boy. All right, Lane LaFata, way to
Go
go.
ahead. Woo, woo, woo.
Way to go, stat boy.
Step boy.
Yep. We have one for Mr. Frank LaFata.
That's my nickname. He wasn't booing me.
Boo. Boo's your nickname?
Boo.
Buffa.
Hey, Boo.
Means funny guy in Italian.
Does it?
Buffa.
Is that real Italian? Fake
Yeah.
Italian? That's real
That's
Italian.
real Italian.
That's buffa bread.
And then I don't even remember who the third winner was. Did we have another winner?
Yeah.
I don't, did we?
His last name rhymes with mullet.
Who was that?
That's right. The Podfather.
Alexander Gullet.
The Podfather himself has a win. So
Yes.
we'll see who wins at the end of this show. Now, before we go on to the matchup, I have one more question with the last game. And it's kind of a loaded question because is this the last time we see Harbaugh at Michigan? Alex, what do you think, buddy? Is he going to be there next year or is he gone?
I wish it were the last time we saw Harbaugh at Michigan, but he stays.
Okay.
I'd love to see him back in the NFL.
Okay.
Great coach, but he'll stay at Michigan. But I think he already proved his point with Michigan. He beat Ohio State.
We're back.
He won
You know?
one. He's like 7. He's 1-7. I don't think proving a point's a 1-7 record against the team.
He's won the last 2 years in a row.
He's always like 2-7, 2-6. Like, calm down.
The last two, though, they matter. They all matter. But, so, do you think he sticks around and tries to make it 3-7?
So I was like, there's no way he's going to leave. There's not a chance. And then I just started looking in the rumor mills, and that thing is a flying. And I'm like, well, there's smoke, there's fire, son. And trust me,
Sometimes
there's
that's the way
some
that
smoke.
works. There's some smoke. There's fire.
But I look at it. Where's his fit? Is it Carolina?
I think I have it.
Dallas.
I think I've been saying this for a minute. So, look at his previous stops. Okay.
San Francisco.
Let's start San Diego State. San Diego State. What did they do? Ran the ball extremely well.
played defense.
Stanford. What did they do at Stanford? Ran the ball extremely well and
That was
played defense.
Was that McCaffrey?
I don't
No.
remember. We'll have to get Stat Boy on that for next episode. Leave comments in the leave some
If
comments
you
and let us
know.
know if it was McCaffrey or not. It might have been McCaffrey. And then on to San Francisco 49ers, where what did they do well?
They ran the ball.
They ran the ball and played defense.
And they did good. I don't understand why he doesn't have an NFL job. I'm still baffled by
He
that.
chose to go to Michigan.
Yeah.
He
Well,
had
I mean,
to,
it was-
but at the
he
same
had to-
time, like,
He fixed that program. The goal was to fix that, and that's where you're. And what do they do well? Run the ball. So, which NFL team without a coach focuses on a run game and a defense? Which team has Jonathan Taylor? And they also have ties to one quarterback, Harbaugh. That would be your Indianapolis Colts. They're without a head coach. I mean, you can call Jeff Saturday. You guys pick on Jeff Saturday all day long. I think he was
I'm not-
okay.
yeah, we're
he was
not
an
doing
okay pick. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're just finishing the rest of the season, all right.
Have you watched him on the sideline?
I have. It's interesting.
It's very interesting.
It's very interesting. Not
love
like
it.
McDaniel's interesting, but interesting in a different way.
he's
So I
the
think
greatest show on turf.
he goes to
It
Indy.
could be true.
I think he gets a 1 year grace period of who do you want to be the quarterback here? Do you want it to be Derek Carr? Do you want it to be Lamar Jackson? Do we really want to go for this?
Baker Mayfield.
Do we want it to be Baker time? So
No way.
I think he ends up in Indy. I think this is going to be
It could happen.
we pick Harbaugh to come here. He figures it out. He's there for 3 or 4
They're
years, and then he
stacked on
leaves.
defense already too. They're stacked.
It's-
Leonard's coming back, be healthy.
And it's a weak division. It's a
Yeah,
weak
absolutely.
division. That brings us up to our matchup: TCU, Georgia. So,
Georgia.
Just a couple things, right? As of today, Georgia is a 12.5-point favorite. That's a wild.
That's
number.
crazy.
That's wild.
Do you remember the presser Dugan had where he was crying? I just wanted to win a national championship for this team.
Listen, my wife looked up at the screen. She was like, "The Horned Frogs in the championship?" It's
Yeah,
like,
man.
"Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, man.
Yes, ma'am."
The Horned Frogs. Who's the best player to ever come out of TCU?
It's got to be LaDainian Tomlinson.
You think it's the Thomason?
Yeah, I think so. I think it has to be.
Did you know they won a national championship?
They did?
Yeah,
When?
the second ever.
The
TCU?
second national championship ever.
Yes.
What year was that?
1944.
The
How,
Horned Frogs?
how was it when you were watching it? Was it good?
Listen. I was doing my homework.
were you like,
I'm ready.
Dad, switch the thing up, please?
So-
Can't see it.
Listen, I am not the oldest one at the table, and I was not that old.
Okay.
LT for sure, though.
I think
LT for
he's-
sure.
I think he's the greatest. He's got to be the
Oh,
greatest.
LaDainian Thomas is one of my favorite players of all time.
This is going to be another. I think it's going to be another great game. I don't think.
I don't.
I think. Oh, you think it's a blowout, huh?
I mean,
I do.
I would only think it would be a blowout if they weren't just favored by 14 points and should have lost the game.
so you think it's an expectations game?
Yeah, I think I definitely think you have to have that money spread. I believe Vegas is going to even it out. It probably end up around 10 because they just saw what happened.
It's not going to drop that
but
much.
I'm not going to lie. Ohio State is a way better team than TCU.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
my
have to
point.
put that in the vault.
Put that one in the vault.
In the comments. Get in the comments. Let us know if you think Ohio State's better than TCU. You're gonna
Yeah.
have some Texans
No, I
coming out of the
agree.
woodwork.
I think this is a mismatch of
You guys
ages in the
don't?
national championship.
I don't think it matters who's the better team. Ohio
Okay.
State's at home. TCU's playing for
was
a
gonna say.
championship, so it doesn't matter.
I think the national championship game should have been last Saturday. We watched it.
So
Came down to a field goal.
Listen, either game could have been a national championship game. That's how good they were.
Before we get predictions, a couple things. I think the most underrated player is probably Georgia running back Kenny McIntosh. What can Mac do for you? Again, when most teams would start throwing the ball when they're down, it was the wildest thing to see Georgia go, you know what? We're just going to do a little delay handoff to Kenny. Kenny do it, and he just goes ahead and gets 25 yards.
Underrated.
Yes.
The tight end is.
Which one? Brock Bowers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the entire tight end room.
I think he's. I mean, when
that guy is.
Darnell Washington went down, Big O went down, and you were like, oh no, maybe they're going to start going to Brock Bowers. They still kind of didn't. So I think there's still a lot of room to go.
I was like,
yep.
I was actually,
And
for those that don't know, I kind of pull for Ohio State if you ain't figured it out by now.
kind of
So-
a little bit.
So I was actually like, thank God they're not throwing the ball.
just the kids from Ohio.
I swear the coach, whoever the coach of Georgia was, I swear they must know who the coach in Baltimore was because they're allergic to throw the ball to Mark Andrews. I think it's the same type of setup.
We got a Kirby Smart Mark.
he doesn't have a quarterback to get him the ball.
Greg Roman, shout out.
Fantasy
There's
football.
there's a lot of hate for Greg Roman in this room right now, including myself. Shout out my co-teacher Duron Harvey hates Greg Roman. So yeah, absolutely. Matchup question is the biggest one I have is can Jalen Carter and the Georgia line and linebackers slow down the run? And the other question I have is, man, like you guys said, Marvin Harrison Jr. absolutely torched Keely Ringo. That was, I think he's number 5. He was on Georgia,
Yeah.
and he just got lit up. So what's going to happen when he goes against Quentin Johnston?
It's a different type of receiver. in my
I think so
opinion.
too.
I don't think it is. They are the same exact type guys.
Quentin Johnson's got size. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is way more
they're
twitchy and
First of all,
shaky.
they're both 164, 165. They're both cut as all get out. They both have great hands and probably going to run a 4.3 40. No, these aren't different
For
prospects.
the Dallas Cowboys one day.
These are the same prospect. And if you had trouble with Marvin Harrison, I hate to tell you, Quentin Johnson showed something he couldn't normally do. Normally, he's a deep threat. He's going to grab something. He showed that I can go ahead and get you run after the catch, which nobody knew was in his toolbox. So, Keely Ringo had trouble with Marvin Harrison Jr. He's probably going to have trouble with Quentin Johnston too.
What I saw out of Marvin Harrison Jr. comparative wise was he's more of a route runner especial. Like he's
that's his
from the
niche.
school of Jerry Rice, and you can
Gets
tell
it from
who
his daddy?
You can tell who his daddy is.
Gets it from his daddy.
What I
Daddy.
get from the other wide receiver is more of a Debo Samuel, Randy Moss mix. Like I am just physically altering the game.
We're like making the best wide receivers ever right now.
Here we go.
Well, I mean, they're playing like it.
It's
I think they're playing well.
Yeah, Randy Moss played well too in college. Shout out to Marshall.
yeah, he did play well at Marshall. Off the field issues cause him to drop.
Yeah.
Another thing I do want to talk about, because they're such favorites, I do want to talk about the if. And yeah, this might be disrespectful to TCU. Okay, so before we get our final picks, who we think is going to win, if Georgia wins, do we need to start talking about this program and this team as the greatest team of all time? Is it up there?
Not for me.
Okay.
I don't. When I think about the greatest teams of all time, like I think about the Tim Tebow led Florida Gators.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much personality in those teams. There was so much rah-rah, and you wanted to watch them. They were gritty. They were all great on camera. Like they had personality. I don't see that from Georgia. Not taking anything away from them. Plus, they struggled with Ohio State to put them away. But Ohio State played their best game. Georgia didn't.
Ohio State's good.
They're not.
Ohio
So-
State is good.
They are good. They're
They're a good
They're
team.
not as good as Alabama.
They're not elite.
or Georgia, but
And so I wouldn't put them in that class. I don't think they have the flashiness for it. That offense seems to struggle sometimes. If they had one guy on the outside who could take over a game,
yeah, that's just not the way they play.
it's not.
Yeah.
So
Frank,
So I don't think that there's been a metric ton of teams that have went undefeated in college football and ran the gauntlet.
1 metric ton.
A metric ton, yes. And in fact, I think the numbers are 74 teams to be exact
That's a metric ton.
have
Correct.
gone undefeated. But when I was looking over just the hit, because when the question popped up and I saw it on the sheet, I went and started going back, and I was like, man, I love those Miami days. And I went back in the 2001 Miami Hurricanes ran the
U part
gauntlet.
2.
Yeah, they went with Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee.
Yeah, they were
back,
killing it.
Ed Reed.
Ken Dorsey,
Hawkins.
shout out Buffalo's offensive coordinator.
Think about a couple years ago that LSU team.
Burrow,
Anytime.
undefeated
Justin
team.
Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow.
Yep,
I mean, that's great, but they still didn't go undefeated. So my point is
they did the year they won the championship.
they
Come
did.
on, Frank.
Well, you know what? Hindsight is, I look at those legends, and in my mind, Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, and Ed Reed. Is
Oh,
a
yeah, we
different-
grew up with those
yeah,
guys,
like
though,
so,
yeah.
like it's a different type. When I think about that, I mean, just the U just being brought up at any time, like in my mind. I'm
Thank
like,
you, Michael Irvin.
the only thing I remember from the Cincinnati game was Joe Burrow smoking a cigar. Like that's what I remember.
Joe Cool.
And I think who was handing out bills? Odell was handing out hundreds.
Yeah,
yeah.
caused a couple violations there. Way to go, Odell. Always doing it for the school. I think you guys are.
Did it for the kids.
You guys are. Yeah, I understand. Listen, the greatest teams ever. Vince Young's Texas team.
Tough.
That was probably
Still the
that was
greatest
one of
game I've ever
the
seen.
best games I've ever seen. The USC teams that they beat with Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush
Man,
and
Reggie
Rendell
Bush
White.
was so huge.
The U teams that you're talking about, yes, that they're there as well. For all the old heads out there, they're gonna say, like, hey, Oklahoma had some really great teams. Yeah,
did.
I understand.
Yeah,
They
like
did.
in the 50s and 60s.
Absolutely. Listen,
they had some great passing teams like in the last 15 years.
yeah, you're
Shout out Mississippi State.
you're gonna say, hey, for the really old heads, no offense, they're gonna say those Newt Rockney had those boys going, fellas. Hey, what? Get on head, Sharon, hurrah, and out they'd come. Like
Who was the
I get
quarterback
it.
for the Rams from Oklahoma? Sam
Bradford.
Sam
Bradford.
Sam
Yeah.
Bradford.
He had. I mean, that team was hard. I mean, they didn't win it all. But my point was, I think about Oklahoma teams. They were really good there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I disagree with both of you. I think what you guys are talking about is greatness in terms of personality, charisma, stuff like that. I think when you look at the greatness of a team on the field between the lines, I think running through the SEC gauntlet for 2 years, and if they win, going 29-1, that one being a loss to Alabama, who they eventually beat in the championship game.
They got over that Alabama hump.
Yeah, it's. I think we're going to have to look back on this team, and because they didn't have charisma, I think this team is still going to be considered amazing and up there.
I think they may be top 15.
I can't. You know what? Honestly, when I'm looking back at it, it's kind of unfair because I'm looking back in nostalgia and I'm seeing these great players that are going into the Hall of Fame, and I'm looking at this team and I'm like, I don't know who's going to the Hall of Fame.
Maybe
Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
and it's
Stetson
kind of
Bennett ends up being like Kurt Warner or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe
you just
yeah.
you don't know. So I'm looking back from a skewed perspective. I have feelings for the players that I've watched for years. And I grew up with.
Feeling.
I think this is going to be a great conversation. Who knows? Maybe in a couple episodes we'll do greatest college football teams.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Maybe we'll have a little draft of the college football teams between the three of us.
I'm 1-0 in our draft so far.
You are absolutely not.
One
you
and-
were. If you mean 1-0 as in like you
Silent
win
night
for being third place.
temptation.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
self-proclaimed undefeated drafter right here.
Self-proclaimed. It absolutely.
Take that.
You are
And marriage guru.
undefeated. If you were 10%, if I was 10% of the husband that you.
If my
Can we
wife
be
had 10% of
I
you,
just-
she wouldn't know what to do with stuff. What?
You are undefeated.
It's true. She even laughed at that. She was like, "You're probably right."
You are.
The
oh,
fact that
man,
she's
this is-
agreeing, we're getting deeper and deeper.
doubling
You're
down
such a
on this.
Well,
Don't
you
double
know,
down. Let it go.
You're such a yes
Let it
man.
go. Let it go.
I'm taking away a point for you saying Frozen. That's a
Frozen.
negative. But you are undefeated when it comes to chips and dip reference.
chips
Yes.
and dip, definitely.
Which nobody still understands what you're talking about. Now, with that, let's get some picks. So just really quick, tell me your pick. Who do you think wins the game? Georgia, TCU. Alex, who you got?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Fellas,
It's 3
football.
for 3.
Football's weird.
Throw it up.
Dude, don't
Throw
don't
it
do
up.
it.
Throw the 3
You got
for 3
murdered
up.
about the Brock Purdy thing. Just go ahead and lay out
A
Georgia.
little peer pressure, guys.
Nobody blames
Kids
you.
don't watch this.
We
Little
are
peer
3
pressure.
for 3.
We're 3
It's
for 3.
Georgia. As much as I think it'd be interesting.
3 for 3. Thank you.
Interesting to see TCU win it. Football's weird. I mean, it is odd. It's poetic, not as poetic as Frank. Now, with that championship out of the way, we do have a springboard into NFL playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get a little NFL awards prediction. It's going to be award ceremony time soon. So let's talk MVP. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're all going to be 3 for 3 for this one.
Yeah.
But
I think we should probably be 3 for 3 on all of these.
I don't know. There's some movement.
Is there movement?
There's movement for me.
Okay, let's look at it. Let's do
All right,
this.
Frank, who do you have for MVP?
MVP is absolutely, unequivocally Patty McTouchdowns. And when he wins this award, depending on what he does in this playoff set run, he will absolutely be vaulted in the GOAT conversation.
Wow.
For greatest
Not
quarterback.
yet.
The amount of
Conversation. Maybe not the GOAT.
He can't.
Okay.
He can't. He needs a couple more chips.
So like LeBron-esque in the conversation, but definitely can't be given the GOAT award.
No.
Point
LeBron
for
is
that
the
shot
GOAT.
fired.
We'll have you definitely. We're gonna go sports court in that later on. Not this episode, but it's coming. I will say right now, like if he's there, he is not only is he in the conversation, he's driving the car right now. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
he's like it's up to him because after what happened to his team and the way he's dismantling the NFL again, with having the second hardest schedule in the NFL and acting like he didn't lose Tyreek Hill, possibly the
You really feel this.
Oh, I do. I did a little more research and.
You really feel this.
You know, if he just didn't have his brother, he might.
Can we
win more
leave
awards.
family out of this?
No, his
sorry,
brother is a
Patrick.
detrimental situation.
Sorry, Patrick.
He'd have more fans if it wasn't for his brother.
Okay. I'm waiting for Alex to say
Here we
his
go.
MVP.
I hear Alex to agree with me.
I'm just trying to keep families out of this, guys. I don't want. we don't want to divide families.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to go with that. No, Patty McNasty. It's easy.
Patty
Patty
McTouchdowns.
McNasty.
Patty McNasty. I like.
We're doing
I like
things
both
here.
Of them. Both of y'all
air
get a
five.
point for that.
Patty
We
McNasty.
don't
Tired
want
of
to block
high-
Paul's pretty face.
All these high fives. -1 for each of y'all. High fives. We're not doing that. I have Patty McTouchdowns as well. I thought Josh Allen could be in the conversation. Barring what happened Monday night, I thought if Allen showed out, there's still a chance if they get the 1 seed, maybe he could.
Absolutely was in my mind.
Yeah, but I don't think. I think it's so far beyond now. You go, okay, maybe it is, but then again, hey,
If they would have beat Cincinnati, knowing that
They weren't
the
going to beat
losses
Cincinnati.
that Kansas City does have are against Cincinnati and Buffalo, I was actually thinking that too.
yeah.
That went through my mind before they had to cancel the game.
So 3 for 3 on that, fellow.
3 for
Attaboys.
3.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. Thank you.
All right, I think the next one we're going for 3 for 3 as well. I have Defensive Player of the Year. It's Nick Bosa. It's not close.
We better go 3 for 3.
I think we're going to go 3 for 3. I'm going to go you first because I want to feel the hatred stewing, Alex, as he has to say this because he's not going to say it.
Nick Bosa is running away with the award like it's hot.
Okay, so Alex, tell us why you picked Micah Parsons and not Nick Bosa.
So listen,
Cowboys.
I have 2 names written down on my paper.
Yeah. This one rhyme with FICA Darsons.
Yes, one does.
Scoot in a little bit for me.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to get you a little closer over here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Nick Bosa's this year.
Thank God.
But I will say this, man. Until week 13, week 14,
God.
it was Micah Parsons, and then he had some quiet
was
weeks.
not.
I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go over the statistics of like
It was not
his
the favorite.
win percentage off the line, his quarterback pressures, all of that
Nice.
kind of stuff. We'll
like
give
it.
it to Nick
I
Bosa.
think he was minus.
Are we 3 for 3, guys?
We're 3 for
We're 3 for 3. We're 3
I
for
think
3.
he was minus 1,200 at the Las Vegas odds the last time I checked.
I will say this, and I won't even have to say the game because I will let Frank say it. Frank, what was the game that stood out for Micah Parsons where you're like, yeah, I can't give him the award now?
I can't.
Houston Texans. That's
Yeah, it
right,
was
Frank.
Houston
That's
Texans.
right.
So that
The
was.
Houston-
I think
that
we were
was-
chatting about that. Yeah.
That was the where you go. No QB pressures,
couldn't-
no sacks. No,
Against what offensive lineman did he not get it? Couldn't get.
correct.
that was bad.
But you know what? Honestly, I'm not faulting the guy. The guy's a great player. I'm not.
No, I think
He's having a phenomenal season. We're bagging him like the
It's his
number-
second year.
Like
Yeah.
like the
Second year.
second best player, defensive player in the NFL is a horrible thing.
right. Yes,
Like,
and he's well on his way. He adds a few pounds, gets some more strength.
he don't need anything different.
He needs
just
to bulk
to
up a little
play.
bit, but the kid's
You say
amazing.
he does, but I mean, like, if he gets this sacks for the next 7 years, if
He's-
he does what he does this year for 7 years in a row, he still goes down as one of the greatest players to ever play.
All
football.
I'm saying is he still has his college boy body. When he matures
I want
into a
that-
grown
I
man,
want his college boy body.
well, who doesn't? But when he returns into a grown man,
This got off the rails again.
I don't
Why
ever
are we
understand.
talking
It's
about
what it
his
is.
college boy body?
If somebody cut out body
It's
and
the
they hear me just
CBD.
say, I
What are
wanted
we-
a college boy,
what are we
this is gonna
talking
get
about,
horrible.
guys?
it's CBB, bro.
Please don't clip that.
Listen,
It's
all-
CBD.
the only thing I would
CBD.
tell Micah Parsons is, like Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last. Okay,
First, you're last.
you're not first, you're last. So
Hey, much love, Mike. Appreciate you all you're doing, man.
But as much as we're saying about that too, TJ Watt would have been healthy, and then we'd have a different
True.
conversation also.
true. Yeah,
Probably.
I don't think you're wrong. From offense or from defense to offense, Who do we have as the offensive player of the year, Alex?
Okay, this one it's hard for me to say which one I want to go with, but I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. It was between him and Justin Jefferson.
Whoa.
I'm going to go Tyreek Hill,
Okay.
offensive
I
player of
did
the year.
not believe you were doing that in earlier conversations.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. All right, Frank, do you have Tyreek?
So is it me, or do they just give offensive player of the year awards just because they're like, well, the quarterback's going to win the MVP?
And I think they have to, because quarterbacks win MVPs.
No, I mean, no, they don't have to.
How many
they don't
times in
have
the NFL have they given a wide receiver the MVP award?
Should have happened last year to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
But
Well, my point is
I-
the situation. Like, if I wasn't thinking that way, I would give a different quarterback this award.
really,
Yeah.
who would you give that to?
If he would have played, I would have been out of nowhere. If you look at players like Josh Allen being top 10 in rushing touchdowns,
Okay.
rushing touchdowns.
Josh
All
Allen,
you're
you
looking
say.
at.
Bro, we don't count quarterback sneaks, bro.
No, but we do
Allen.
count points.
Listen, we count quarterback sneaks. They count as a touchdown. What do you mean we don't count them? Was it you were the official from the
We're talking
from the
offensive-
Michigan game, aren't you?
He leads
Yes.
the league in touchdowns with a broken arm. Just about his arm is faulty this year, and he still leads the league in total touchdowns. We're talking about offensive. Saying all that, just like I normally do, I'm saying Justin Jefferson. But my point is,
I appreciate you
I-
sucking up to the judge. 3 points for you.
He knows how to get his points.
He is getting the points. I had Justin Jefferson as well. 124 receptions, 5 drops, 1,771 yards, 8 touchdowns, and a rushing TD. Are we counting rushing
I
touchdowns
can't
for
give
wide
it-
receivers?
So here's the problem.
we have to.
Is that-
If I'm going to
is that a
compare them
yes?
to rushing touchdowns,
We're
for
giving that.
quarterbacks, we
All
have
right, I was asking Alex just because quarterback sneak touchdown doesn't count.
Yeah, we're going to count it. But
Oh, okay.
what I'm saying is Justin Jefferson just had 15 yards on one catch against the rookie.
It's not a good look, Bob. It's not a good look.
Not a good look.
Not a good look.
That takes you out of MVP
Listen,
conversations.
and then that Jair Alexander wears the big hat.
Yes.
I love the big hat. I am buying me one.
3 for 3 big hats.
Yes,
Maybe?
I have to do it.
Maybe?
I have to wear a big hat.
You know, somebody's got a birthday coming up.
the big
They
hat.
do.
The
That's-
Brian Robinson big hat.
All the big hats.
No, the
Any
now
big hat.
Jair Alexander big hat. After the interview, he did the interview in the locker room wearing a big hat.
I missed that.
And then he told Skip and Unc to put some respect on his name. He's not a good quarterback. He's a great cornerback with the big hat on.
Jair.
And I was like, that's
We still got to work on impressions.
And
with
I
you.
will say this:
Yeah,
my
it's getting
apologies to Jair Alexander. I told you to stop talking. You can talk all you want, bro.
Talk,
you
better
say
talk, big dog.
anything you want.
talk
man.
from now on.
You killed
The
it.
only other player I had for consideration was Josh Jacobs, the running back for Vegas. Over 1,600 yards on the ground, 12 rushing touchdowns, 51 receptions, almost 400 yards receiving.
He's got opposing team players saying that's the greatest player they've ever played against.
And
And they're gonna ruin him.
it's well, here's my thing is I know this is going to shock everyone. It's a contract year.
Don't say he's
They're,
going
they're
to
gonna
Buffalo.
ruin him.
Who would have thought that he would have this year in a contract year?
Who needs a running back?
A lot of teams. Well, yeah, I'd go cheap, but that's a different conversation. I'd just draft somebody and
Oh,
Yeah, running backs aren't
don't
the
pay.
same.
You don't pay running backs. Come on,
I don't know.
You don't pay.
You
running
wouldn't
backs.
think so, but we'll get in 3 picks from now. I'll tell you the one that changes my mind.
Come on, man.
So coach of the year. Let's go with you, Frankie. Who do you have as coach of the year?
I want to know if we're gonna go 3 for 3, but I don't know how it's hard not to pick Dabble.
Okay.
I mean,
I
just
didn't pick him.
Oh, we are
Really?
not going for
I
3 for
did
3.
not pick
You know what? So, for those who hasn't figured out that he's a Cowboys fan, Dabble plays for the Giants.
I can tell you there's
the
2
Giants.
names not on my paper. One's Nick Sirianni and one's Dabo. And I don't feel bad about it.
Did you just put one name on your paper and then list 2 people not on it?
No, I have 3 names on my paper.
Is Kellen Moore on your paper?
paper?
Yeah.
Good for
This
you.
is the NFL quarterback and NBA player.
Here we
He's got-
go. I'm
I have
guessing 3
75 names for coach of the year.
Well,
I'm gonna guess
To
30 and
75.
see if I can get one right.
No, I'm not going to give you all 3. I'm going to give you one.
Okay, who do you have as coach of the year?
Well, that's
Kevin
a-
O'Connell,
Okay,
rookie coach
okay,
in Minnesota,
yeah,
going to lead them to the playoffs.
okay,
Great offense.
yes,
He did what he was supposed to do.
yeah. Okay.
It's either him or Kyle Shanahan.
I did not think Minnesota was going to be as good at the record as they were, so I can't.
And
say
I don't
it's
think
not a
Kyle's.
horrible
I don't
pick.
think Kyle's won it yet. I'd still go Kyle. I'd still go O'Connell, but I think those are the 2 in discussion.
I had both Brian Daboll because injuries. He made Daniel Jones look great, and he's dealing with the New Jersey media. You know, anytime you're dealing with that New Jersey media, not New York.
Can't say New York.
They're not New York.
New
They play in
Jersey.
Jersey.
They were.
Like I said, what do? Ski in
They
their
ski in
jeans.
their jeans,
They
boys.
ski
Ski in their
So-
jeans. It's Jersey.
There's some.
I did have.
There's some jean skiing foos.
I did. They are. I did have Kyle Shanahan on the paper as well.
Yeah,
Before I get to him, I just want to shout out Sean McDermott. I put Sean McDermott in there. I get that injuries are part of the game. To lose Pro Bowl Micah Hyde in the second game, to lose Von Miller halfway through the season, and then I think Monday night shifted more like this dude's just a leader of men. The fact that he told Zach Taylor, if you guys are going to play the game, I need to be at the hospital. That's where my job is.
Shout out to McDermott and Taylor and those organizations for standing up like they did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
When do they vote for this?
I know it's after the season, but I think it's before the
I think
playoffs, yeah.
awards are at like playoff
Yeah.
time.
And the reason why I say this is
That's
with as much as I didn't think,
That's going to sway some votes.
if there's a win, if this weekend, if some things lay the right way, Mike McCarthy has a chance.
Yeah,
I'm
I
giving
mean,
a shot. I'm just saying what it is. If he gets the number one, if he pulls the
Three
number
for-
one seed, the rabbit out the hat.
Say it again.
3 for 3 jinx is on.
Say it
fellas.
again.
Listen.
But I did.
Knowledgeable about the jinx.
I did finally set on Kyle Shanahan. 3 different quarterbacks this year. You know,
It was tough.
figuring out Christian McCaffrey. I think he.
Let
he
me
should
go
probably
ahead.
get it.
Your best offensive player
Just-
was hurt.
Just
in
paint the picture.
Deebo.
I want you to take the last player in the draft and win.
Yeah.
In only the most important position in any sport.
Challenge accepted.
I'll do that.
And they
I'll do
win
that.
dominantly.
Absolutely. Now for the young guys, you picked a rookie coach. Tell me who your offensive rookie of the year is.
I think it's pretty easy. I'm going Kenneth Walker III out of Seattle. He's carrying that team. You saw what it did to him when he was out. Kenneth Walker III.
Frank?
I had the same thing. I actually was totally. I wish Brees Hall would never got hurt. He would have been my pick. It wouldn't have close. But I will say, Walker was like he kept on running, and then he got hurt, and then they started.
Shout out
not
to favorite
doing
movie
so good.
segment coming up.
Not doing so well. And then he came back, and they knew they were going to run the ball, and they still could not stop this dude. And I'll be honest, he looks like he's about 3'8", and he's not. He's
No.
way bigger than that.
Yeah,
But the
he
way
is.
he runs,
It's a big dude.
He runs like he's small, but he's huge, and it's weird.
Michigan State,
and it
man.
works.
They breed them big. I had him on my list. I didn't have him as the top name. Other honorable mentions, really quick. Chris Olave.
Olave,
I had him
Saints.
on my list.
yeah.
I just had, is Ohio State the new wide receiver you? Maybe in a couple of years. Damian Pierce before he got hurt for Houston. Again, he was. And then I do want to shout out Big Ugly offensive tackle for the Chargers, Jamari Slayer. Who is he? Yeah, nobody knows because he's just doing his business. Who I actually had winning was Garrett Wilson.
Wilson, I was going to say Wilson.
And the
Speaking
reason
of, you just said Ohio
Can't
State.
do that.
I
Yes.
just wanna bring it back in the picture.
That's fine. You know what? They have great draft prospects, but they're not better than Alabama. And they shouldn't have
They're
been in the
not,
bowl
but
game.
they deserve to be in the playoffs. They were better this year.
Last episode, Alex said he's not going to sniff 1,000 yards. Well, sniff. He's at 1,014.
Yeah, he did well.
4 touchdowns, and here's what sells it. Who did he have throwing him the ball? He had Mike White. Who's that? I don't know. I think he created White Lotus or something like that on
He's
HBO.
the guy who got the hit on Mike Waite against Buffalo. To this
he's-
moment is the single hardest hit I've ever seen a man take.
Milano.
Fall down, get back
Should have been a
up,
Pro Bowler.
and play again. His organs got moved in that hit.
Who else did he have? He had Zach Wilson. Okay, enough said. And then he had Joe Flacco throwing him the ball.
Flacco.
So
Joe.
again,
Shout
one more
out.
game. He's probably going to finish with 1,100 yards. Good season. I think he probably wins offensive rookie of the year. You might be right with Walker. Kenny Walker only started 10 games. I mean, he didn't show enough early in the season to be the guy. So that's why I didn't have him in. What about defensive rookie of the year, Frank? Who do you have? I think we might go 3 for 3
I think
here.
we're pretty.
This one's pretty easy.
We all like this
Yeah.
kid. There is some good players out there, though.
Yeah.
We had
Oh.
Hutchinson in Detroit is honorable mention.
You got
for Hagel.
Woolen. You got
Yep. Tariq Woolen.
a cornerback out in Seattle,
But
man.
us three like when a player talks the talk and walks the
You know
walk.
what we like?
And Sauce is saucy.
Yo,
we like-
sauce is saucy.
We like
bro.
chicken wings, and what goes good with chicken wings? Sauce.
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 Yeah,
Sauce.
sauce.
We're 3 for 3 on chicken.
We are 3 for 3.
Sauce.
2
3 for 3. 3 for 3.
2 interceptions. What does he lead the league in? Passes deflected.
He
20
does.
passes deflected.
I will say before we move off of Sauce, I almost picked Deron Bland. Shout out Deron Bland, Dallas Cowboys leading the league in interceptions with 6.
shocked. I'm shocked.
Don't be shocked.
He's leading
Don't
the
be
league
shocked.
because they throw the ball at him. It
Don't be
doesn't-
shocked.
Leading the league in interceptions
Throw
is
the
not
ball.
a good. It's not a good stat.
It's a great stat.
There's a Rams player. I forget who the gentleman is. 'Cause
it's a
I'm just-
great stat. What are
No,
you even talking
there's
about?
a Rams player that led the league like 4 years in a row in interceptions because they threw the ball at him the whole time because he was horrible.
That's not how it goes.
We'll have to get
No.
Stat Boy on that.
Yeah.
Last one, comeback player of the year. Alex, who you have comeback player of the year?
Man, Geno's a handsome pick, but I went with Saquon Barkley. Saquon, 295 rush attempts, 1,312 yards, 10 touchdowns, 57 receptions, another 400 yards through the air. Better than his last healthy season in 2018. I'm going to go Saquon Barkley.
Okay. Frank, did you have Saquon?
They gave Daniel Jones a standing ovation, but they should give the standing ovation to Saquon's shoulders because he carried the team.
Okay.
And yes, I have Saquon because what he went through, and then I watched him on some initial podcast, I Am Athlete and The Pivot, and him talking that talk at the beginning of the season. I was like, I want to believe in him because I've always liked Saquon.
Bro, it was 3 years of injury.
I know, but this
3
year
years.
he came on the podcast and was like, I'm ready to get it.
You liked him even though he went to Penn State?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I liked
didn't
him
know.
Holla
because
Penn State.
I liked him
Ohio
because
State, Penn State?
there was one year where the year after the Rams left St. Louis and they went to L.A. and they were like an ex-girlfriend and I didn't want to look at him.
Those are dark times.
That was the year that the Giants beat the Cowboys
Beat
for
who?
for the division, and it was Saquon Barkley that did it, and I was like, he's my hero.
I remember you being like, I might be a Giants fan.
I'm a Giants fan for
The
3
same thing he
weeks.
did for like the Washington Commanders. He's like, I think I might be a Washington fan.
I might like Ohio State.
I think I'm an Ohio State fan.
I've officially
now.
liked Ohio State longer than I liked any of those other teams. I've officially just said I don't like any teams anymore in the NFL.
That's true.
I just like the NFL.
You're a mercenary.
Yeah, I'm not
Go
even.
Bills.
Yeah, I'm like
Bills.
what paid higher as in like if you just make me smile, I like your team.
So I had Geno on my list as the winner. A close second place though was Tom Brady. He was retired. Okay. First of all, let me just talk about. He was retired. He was doing Hertz commercials and then he came back. All right.
That's a great
So,
take.
but
Great
realistically,
job.
I
Great
mean,
job.
let's see. Saquon Barkley. There was. I don't think there was ever a doubt of can he play at a high level. Whereas Geno Smith was the backup for the Chargers a couple years ago, and nobody remembers that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think the fact that
Was it him or Taylor that got like the shot in the lung?
no Tyrod
No,
Taylor.
that's Tyrod.
Shout out Chargers team doctor Justin. I think Justin Herbert paid that guy. I think he did. He was like, hey,
You know,
shout out Tyrod Taylor
I
was a
actually
better
think
quarterback
Tyrod-
than he ever got to play.
yes,
I wish he would got to
Hokies.
play more.
I mean,
I
yeah,
wish.
looked great in Buffalo. Not
He
the
did.
man, but
He did.
So last thing, so those are our awards. Way to go, fellas! You want to get a little award applause for our
Yeah,
award
yeah,
winners?
let's
Way
do
to
it.
go,
Let's do
fellas.
it. Let's do it. Great job. Great year, guys.
Now let's go to predictions. So let's see. We got plenty of predictions. Let's go with one prediction that we are going to see. Let's see, Alex, you want to go ahead and lead off?
We going in the NFL?
Sure. Let's do that.
What are we doing? What kind of prediction?
For this week or for the playoffs?
Yes. As Grandma Nelson, rest in peace, used to say when given directions, do I take this left or take this right?
All right,
Yes.
my prediction is this. I'm going to make a bold prediction for this week. Sorry, Uncle Sam.
Don't
Let's
say
do
Cowboys.
this. Just hold your horses. Who would have thought? Hold your horses. Here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts comes back, plays this week. They still lose to the Giants.
Oh.
3 in a row. They reel into the playoffs. Don't get home field advantage. I love it. I'm a fan. Matter of fact, go Cowboys. Come on, guys. Go Cowboys. Say it with me. Go Cowboys. Yeah, that's my bold
Can
prediction.
you have one prediction that doesn't have like
-2.
the circle of life that revolves back to Dallas doing something great?
Giants
No.
beat Eagles is an interesting
No.
prediction.
Why would
Thank
I?
you
Why
for
ever?
being honest and saying no.
Why?
Because we're here, we're about authenticity. If we don't feel something, we don't say
Transparency.
it. Transparency
Authenticity.
is a thing, and it's real. And he's just that's all he thinks about.
It's okay.
Is you is or is you ain't a Cowboys
he
fan.
loves
That's what I'm saying.
Cowboys like
Is
fat
I
kids
ain't?
love candy.
I'll go with is I ain't for 2,000, Alex.
You are wearing the colors today, though.
Frank, no, that's Duke. That's Cumberland blue, baby. Frank, what's your prediction?
My prediction is not something that I'm rooting to happen.
Okay.
But it's just what I'm predicting.
Okay.
I'm predicting Patty Mahomes
Okay.
wins it all.
Wow. Super Bowl.
Super Bowl MVP.
Bourbon Bowl.
I'm
You're saying that now?
I'm not even saying he wins it.
Wow.
I'm not even saying they win it all. I'm going farther. I'm saying he's the Super Bowl MVP.
Patty McNasty
Yes.
I
wins
guess
the
that's
Super
not-
Bowl MVP.
I mean, it's not that far fetched to think if he's going to win the
Yeah,
Super Bowl,
I know.
he's not going to be the
That's-
MVP.
ooh,
but-
wow.
But
Shout
it's
out
just an
McKinnon.
extra
Wish I would have
touchdown.
started you last week. But
But serious, no joke, not because I'm trying to get points. I'm rooting for Buffalo because after what happened, there's no way I'm not.
how do you
pulling.
not root for Buffalo right
No,
now?
seriously, there's no way.
You
I'm
remember
not.
the last time Dallas and
But-
Buffalo played? It was like 52-17 in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and then we beat them another 34 to
I
like
do remember.
13.
Yes.
Oh, don't you
Uh,
mention Washington?
I do remember.
What
Don't
I'm
mention
no, what
why I
I'm
left.
saying is,
Washington, I do
this
remember
could be
them
the
too.
year.
Giants. I
as a
remember that
Cowboys
loss.
fan, if the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl, I'm okay with an L at the Super Bowl. Just get to the Super Bowl at this
He's
point.
not. He is not.
I'm okay with losing to Buffalo.
Mark
Okay.
it down. Note it. If you're
You know what I'm
watching
saying?
this,
That's a more bold prediction than
bookmark
before.
it.
So
And then the week before the Super Bowl, when we're doing the podcast, and he picks the Cowboys to beat the Bills, if that's what happens, remember this
We're gonna
moment.
go ahead and
Remember this moment.
that's okay. You know
Remember.
what? He did say though he's rooting for the Bills. I got to give him some checks.
How could
That
you
boy's
not?
trying to get points.
That's good. He
No.
It's
How
working.
could you not?
All right, so in true 3 for 3 fashion, I took a page out of Alex's book for this one. So I wrote down 3 predictions. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
So my first one is a wild prediction. I think it could happen. And I'm going to go oppo of you, Frank, and say Kansas City and Philadelphia both lose their first playoff game.
Oh, man.
I think it's a weird year in football
What?
Bro.
where there's been about 5 or 6 really good teams.
Bro.
So I'm going to go Kansas City and Philadelphia both lose their first game, whoever they play.
Let me do the Herbert. Bruh.
Bruh. Whoa. It's like Keanu Reeves. Next, I'm going to hurt, since I hurt your heart, now I'm going to hurt your heart. Dallas loses in the first round and immediately fires Mike McCarthy.
Surprise.
Hello, Sean Payton.
Come on.
welcome.
Some people call that an L. I'm not one of those.
Some people also just say, as long as it's advantageous, that's what we're doing here.
He just,
You've used that 3 more times today.
I'm telling you, I bet, have you read that book yet?
I read big words.
Do
You do read
You
big
I
words.
do.
read big words.
You do, fella. You do read big words. And the last
read
prediction,
words.
if any of you guys watched Chris Berman growing up,
I loved Chris Berman.
he had a
Icon.
he had
Sports
a
Center.
constant prediction of the Super Bowl, and it was for like 10 years straight. It might have been longer than that. And that was 49ers versus Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. This year, we finally get San Francisco versus Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Just for you, Bermy.
Just for you, Chris Berman. So those are our predictions. We'll see who's right, who's wrong. Speaking of predictions, Uncle Sam has some bets for us. And
Got you, fool.
He is predicting that he will finally beat us. Now, the Uncle Sam picks, for those of you guys who want to who want to bet these games. Okay?
Wow. No, you'll understand if you listen to the other ones and this one. He pulled the stops out. He's tired of what's happening.
Let me make sure I get this right, because you are the conciliary. So
Yes.
you're like the go-between. Okay? Packers over Lions +5. Okay? So the Lions get 5 points. He's still thinking the Packers are going to cover touchdown.
Was that his lock?
Yes.
Eagles
He's got
over
big
Giants first half. Giants get 7. Okay?
Yes.
That's
Not
in
first half. I think it's like 3.5 first half.
first. I think it's 14 for the game, 7 for the
okay.
first half. Then
Probably.
he takes a swerve and goes NBA. Saturday night, Kings over Lakers +7.5. So he is real. Listen, he's finally mixing it up and going first. Hey, I'm taking first half points. I'm taking.
He's pulling out all the stops.
So he's gonna make that call to LeBron and be like, "Hey, your knee's hurting, right?"
I made a phone call to him, and we had a
Made that phone
long
call.
discussion about how it's embarrassing to lose to us when we're trying, but we're not killing ourselves.
Oh.
And you're
you're trying.
It happens. And I said, go in your bag. Don't just pick NFL. He thought he just had to pick NFL. I was like, do what you do. Go call South San Diego State Tech and see what Elon Musk is doing down that way with this one.
I want
team.
Facebook
I
firing
was really
50,000
surprised.
employees -5.
Yeah. So, and he said, so he went on, and I want to give you a little bit of what he went down. So his stone cold absolute lock is Packers over the Lions.
Okay.
The Lions have 82% of the bets going for them.
Vegas money. So he's
Yeah.
going against.
No.
bets,
no.
not
Wait.
money.
Oh, okay.
Bets
Not
going
money.
to the Lions.
Aha.
The public is with the Lions,
But
but he says
Shark
he
money.
talks to the Guidos.
shark money.
He talks to the Guidos.
Hey.
And
The
since
Paisans.
he said the Paisans. And
Okay.
he says he talks with his guys, and the guys.
Who's guys?
The guys have 18% of the bets, and 18% of the bets have more money invested in the one game than all of the 82%
Hey,
of
yo.
the Lions.
So we're gonna give the guys get some points.
He said the Paisans
Them
are
guys.
all
It's
taking the
those
Packers.
guys.
The
It's
Las
those
Vegas. He
guys.
said the Las Vegas Goons are putting all the money.
Vegas Goons. We got a lot
On
of
the
people. We
Packers.
got a lot of people in this. We have the guys, the Paisans, the Las Vegas Goons.
He
Are they
said-
a friend
It's
of?
everywhere.
Are they a friend of ours? Or
No,
are they a
it's
friend
just
of mine?
just a friend of the family.
Okay, all
So,
right.
Then the
Not a
second
friend of the
game,
pod?
The second game, he said he had a whole script lined up to us. And shout out to Uncle Sam. He said he is making an appearance so the people can put a face
Can't wait.
with the legendary name. He called himself. He's taken over some of the names. He's listening to us, and he's like, "They're absolutely right. I'm the captain of the coin,
He is.
and I have all the coins."
He's the prince of the points.
He said, "I'm the sultan of the spread."
He is the sultan of the spread.
And he said,
He's
"Fly."
the vicar of Vegas, baby.
The one thing I don't like, he could call it what he wanted. He said he's been an Eagles fan since 1914.
He's a liar.
He's a liar. There was
That-
one year they won him
1940.
14 straight games in
Yeah.
bets. They won every spread that year, and they've been his team since then. He says that's not true. I remember the year.
Fair weather runs in the family.
Yes, and it's not fair weather. It's money filled the pockets.
Yeah.
I like that team, and he's
That's
been
right,
with them
yeah.
ever
Oof.
since. And
Yeah.
he wins with them a ton. And he says, "Fly, Eagles, fly,
Fly,
first
Eagles,
half."
fly.
That's
And then last game he said, "Them Lakers hut, them Lakers hut." And
hut.
now with Austin Reeves being out and Lonnie Walker being out with 2 weeks, the Kings with their guard heavy lineup are going to obliterate the Lakers.
It's still got to wait.
That's
till
what
we
he
see.
says. But I say LeBron says 30 points wasn't working, brah. And he's averaging 40 since he turned 38. I say Uncle Sam, good luck. I don't like that pick. It's not my pick against him. I picked a different game, but I was like, that's a tough pick for me. I couldn't do it.
so the Lakers are hut, and the Kings are hut. That's what
Yeah,
you're telling me.
What a
He said De'Aaron Fox is going to go off.
what a.
Okay. Well, let's see. Can we beat him again? What's your pick, Frank?
My pick is the Raiders getting 7.5 points.
I looked at that one. I almost took
They
it.
play
Raiders
Kansas-
have been
Kansas
playing
City,
tough.
right?
Yes.
Saturday
So,
game.
I'm not saying the Raiders are going to win. I just think they're going to make it a good game.
Cover. We just need you to
7.5.
cover.
Just cover.
You know
Just
what?
cover.
I love that. I hope they do win. I hope they do win. Need them to lose. I need KC to lose. I need Buffalo to win for the universe to be right. Alex, what do you have your bet?
I have give me plus 14 and the Giants taking the points to cover the points.
That's a ton. That's what I actually like that
It's
bet.
two tutties
but I also
in the
like
NFL.
I also like the Eagles first half bet too.
No, me too. But I mean, 2 touchdowns in the NFL is a lot.
I mean, we're not playing. I mean, this isn't some Georgia versus Ohio State, but you know,
I don't know if I should give him extra points for tutties or take away points.
No, that's tutties, man. That's Gronk. That's
I don't-
Gronkinisms.
did you say crunkinism?
I don't know.
That's
He used a New
Gronkinism.
England
I'm just
Patriot
gonna
reference.
Not gonna put anything on there.
Because if anybody like the Bills are represented.
Do you remember
by the guy
watching
who
like
keeps score?
Sound of the
Don't
Sidelines?
ever mention anybody from New England.
No, do you remember watching like Sound of the Sidelines
Unless it's
on
Lawler Malloy.
their last Super Bowl with Tampa Bay? And he's like, I got 2 tutties, and he's like going crazy.
He needed that bonus.
Yeah,
You know what I miss? I miss the old NFL films. Like
dude, they
Welcome
were
to
great.
the voice, the welcome to the frozen tundra.
I love it.
Our kids will remember that like they remember up hand rolling up the windows. They just won't.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 and you're like, oh
Bro.
man, it's about to go
Do you remember
down.
Inside
The
the,
Legends
NFL on
of
Yes, sir.
HBO? Like
Yes, sir.
Chris Collinsworth when he was 30.
Before we start rolling in.
yeah.
We start rolling it. My pick, I have 2. You guys, I need some help from you guys. So I have either Steelers over Browns, giving the Browns 2.5. I don't think the Browns have anything. They already sent home Jadeveon Clowney.
Crazy.
Clowney's already working
Welcome
on
to
his
Dallas.
next- yeah, I mean, maybe welcome to Buffalo. Welcome to retirement. So either the Steelers because they have everything to gain. Again, can Mike Tomlin be the coach who has never had a below 500 record, or should I go Chargers versus Broncos? Broncos, let's ride. No, picking
Let's
the
ride.
Chargers, and the Broncos are -2. They are actually.
I saw that.
The
Yeah.
Broncos are playing good ball.
Yeah, but they don't have any. I mean, what are the Chargers playing for?
I think you want to go into the playoffs hot.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
Let me retract statement. I said the Chargers. The Broncos played last game well.
yeah,
there
they
it
played
is.
Still
one
made me
game
mad
well.
about the Rams.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'll defer to you, fine gentlemen. What do we think? Do we want to go Steelers or Chargers?
I think keep your original.
Steelers.
Steelers.
You think Chargers?
I'd say go with it, but I'm not picking it.
I'm not picking it either.
That's a. You know what?
I think Deshaun Watson's
All
he's
you guys-
out to prove stuff.
All you guys want me to pick
Nah.
Steelers? You know where I'm going, baby.
He's going.
How about them? No. We're gonna go Chargers. We'll go Chargers.
All right, Chargers, put it down.
Chargers.
So that's
Let's
our
ride.
3. We got Giants plus 14. We got the Raiders at plus 7.
We got the
and
Chargers plus 2.
plus 2. So we're all getting points this week.
Now, gambling isn't for everyone. Okay, just to get that out there. All the kids listening, all the children, all my students at Cumberland High School. Shout out all you guys listening. Gambling isn't fun. But you know what is fun?
You know what is fun?
Being a parent. Being a parent.
It's not the advice I would give my kid, like Raiders plus 7.
no.
Only when I want them to learn lessons.
Dang. With Stat Boy in the room, he's throwing that out.
I mean, I got to give advice with the boy.
You know what I mean?
goodness.
Way to be the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's go to Alex first. All right, so we're going to call this segment
You
parenting
realize I went
advice.
toilet talk for marriage. You want to start with
does
this?
your parenting advice have to do
He's
with
like-
chips or dip or toilets?
No, this is
Maybe.
how he's going to start.
if it has to do with either of those,
If I
we're
was
canceling.
I-
10%
put-
of the father that Frank was and
I-
15% of the weight that Paul was, then
So I take pride in my parenting.
You're a good dad.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start.
please do.
So, I don't think you realize this until you get older. Like it's 35 and above when you start to realize a few things. One thing that I would tell anybody that is a parent, new parent, whatever it is, there's no such thing as quality time because time flies. All time is quality time. And that's how I try to go about my day, even in the small things, whether it's making dinner, it's whatever it is, all of it's quality time with my kids, with my family. One lesson that my dad told me that I had to learn, and I'm still learning it today. He told me this. He said, your children's lives should be good, but not necessarily easy. Like there's a big difference in a good life and an easy life. He would always tell me, he said, let them struggle with things and give them opportunity to persevere because they never know how good they are until you let them try. You know what I'm saying? And so I struggle with that because as a man and a father and a husband, I want to fix everything right at that moment. And if I could tell any father, any parent, not everything is yours to fix. Allow your kid to fix some of their own stuff. They're going to get into stuff. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to do things. And you're going to warn them. You're going to try to catch them. You're going to try to do things for them. Let them persevere. Man, triumph is amazing. It builds character. Failure is amazing. It builds character. So those are my 2 things. I would say don't think of quality time as a certain time. It's all the time. And there's a difference between a good life and an easy life. Your kids should have a good life, not necessarily an easy life. So those are my 2.
That's great, Alex. That's great.
That's good.
Frank, that was so.
Appreciate that.
So we got to get the buttons away from that cat.
So did I one up?
way better than marriage advice?
yeah, it
Bro,
was.
look,
was
my
it?
wife loved the marriage
Was
advice.
it better than marriage advice? Let the people decide.
Check it out.
Let us know.
The
in
toilet
comments.
thing made sense. Okay?
made more sense than chips and dip.
Or Georgia Bulldog kicking down your throat.
Bulldog shoving it down your throat.
Because chips and salsa.
Yeah. Okay. It's not getting any better, Frank. What's your parenting advice?
my parenting advice, it's something that it happens when your kids start getting a little older, when they start dreaming. First, for the parents out there, pro tip: get your kids to have a dream. That's one thing. Sometimes parents go out there and they just let the kids live, and they're like, "Oh, we're just going to let them try to." Sometimes you got to ask them questions and see what they like, and then try to, well, if you want to do this or that. I'm not saying shape them and say they have to go do things, but ask them intriguing questions. Ask them questions that are going to get answers out of them that you can help grow their dreams anyway. And then when they start having dreams, never ever kill them. I hear so many. I talk to people, and they literally like, well, I'm gonna tell my kid, or I'm gonna whatever, like they got it brought down to earth. Like what? No, the world does enough of killing dreams. Your parents should never kill your dreams. For you as a parent, it's almost like you got to be like a manager. Your job is to give them all the belief that they could ever need, and then give them every tool that you can for them to succeed, and then keep it moving, like everything else. Me and my son always say, if you shoot, I tell him, shoot for the moon. You miss, you're gonna land amongst stars, and that I take the biggest dream, and I don't ever want you to stop. And the moment that you stop realizing or stop believing in that dream, you come to me, and I'll fill that well back up 100% as quick as I can. More than you'll ever need it. I'll have more belief in you than you'll ever have in you. So when you lose it, you just come here and get some more, because I believe that's my job. And then if they're shooting for greatness, they're going to be good kids.
That's super good.
That's awesome.
I read a story one time, it reminded me of that. It said a father and his son were at the dinner table. His son was like 11 years old, and the son said, "Dad, I don't want to just play college basketball." He said, "I want to win a national championship." So his dad thought about it for a couple days. That weekend came around, there was a suitcase by the door in the bedroom, and the son's like, "Dad, what's the suitcase there for?" And the dad was like, "Oh, I'm ready for that national championship game.
Yep.
Bag's already packed, bro. You're going to get there, and I'm going to be there." That was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, we're 3 for 3 here. Just some qualifications. I am the second best parent in my house. So
Absolutely.
Aren't we
Me
all?
too.
so that's hey, you know what? Second best. I'll take it.
You're killing it.
So something that my dad told me when I was an adult and becoming a father was very similar to what you said, Alex. He said, you want your kid to falter. You don't want them to fail. So it's okay if they falter, and learn a couple things, have some bumps or bruises, but you don't want them to fail. So there's that piece of advice that has always stuck around with me. But my piece of advice comes from both a parenting perspective of my own child, but also watching a lot of parenting from the sidelines, being a baseball coach and a basketball coach. And so my piece of parenting advice is let your kids determine what they want to do in sports.
Yeah. I agree.
I've seen so many parents try and live vicariously through their kids of, I was good, so you're going to be good. I'm going to sign you up for basketball. I'm going to sign you up for football. I'm going to sign. And I sit there as a baseball coach and go, your kid hates the sport. Why? He shouldn't be out here. Your kid loves art. Your kid loves music. Get them involved in something they love. Listen, if you want to relive your dream, go be a rec league hero.
That's right.
Like there's
Absolutely.
nothing wrong. You can go play adult league softball. You can go play adult league, beer league baseball, whatever. You want to go play rec basketball? Awesome, great, go for it. But that's not something. Don't force your kid into something. It's just going to make them resent it and resent you. Again, you can't want it more than your kid wants it.
That's right.
And for all those parents out there saying, "No, you're dead wrong. You should sign your kid up for all these different." No, you shouldn't. You should buy them the football, buy them the basketball, and say, "You know what? Let's go play in the backyard. If you want to play, let's go play in the backyard.
See where passion is.
You want me to sign you up? I'll sign you up for it. That's fine. But don't volunteer your kids into that."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let us know what kind of parenting advice you guys have at home. Again, you can hit us up at our Facebook page, our YouTube page, or TikTok, as the kids say, TikTok, Instagram, We're going to be on Instagram, Exchangeagram, all the grams, golden grams. So we're going to be on that. Make sure you like, subscribe. We have some more stuff coming. Again, later this week, fellas, we have a first ever. Our next episode released, we're going to drop middle of the week. It's going to be
Boom.
NBA All-Star Starters.
Boom.
We got some controversy.
Very big
And the very first ever, this monthly's 3 for 3 forum, where all your questions get answered.
Yep.
Boom.
We got some fun stuff. And it is sports life in everything.
Everything.
In between. Now, what we've been waiting for, again, show winner. Show winner.
Who is it?
So, I will just say, the second place finisher had 12 points.
12. 12's a good
lot.
point.
The third place finisher had 9 points.
Man, you guys scored well this time.
You know, we did. We did. I have it scored as, let's see, Alex, you finished in third.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Frank, you finished in second. You had 12 points. I mean, listen, advantageous twice. Come on, bro.
Twice.
That was awesome.
That was good. That was super good.
Unequivocally,
the,
too.
the Frankenism.
The Frankenism.
That was great.
great.
That was
That was
great.
great.
You were right
he
there.
has a lot of
Kudos
Frankenisms.
for that.
But the show winner is your boy DeMar Hamlin. How could we not
Come
let that
on,
dude?
DeMar Hamlin. Yes.
The first thing he writes is who won the game. How can
won
he
the
not
game?
be the show winner?
Listen, I got one day where I can start talking. I'm going to FaceTime my team because they got a game on Sunday.
Bro.
Like,
Hey, still praying for him.
listen,
We're
man,
still
get
thinking about
healthy
him.
and spend time with your family. But you know what?
Do-
It's okay to do you.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Always okay to do you.
Now, while you're doing you, we're going to do us. We're going to be here for you, the people. Again, make sure you shout us out. Remember, for Alex, the Podfather Gullet. For Frank, the Quiet Assassin. With Frankisms. Frank LaFada. I'm your humble, noble narrator. Still don't have a win for an episode yet. One of these days, though, I'm
You're gonna
getting
get one.
I'm going to get it
You're
next
gonna get it.
episode,
You're gonna
maybe.
get it.
I'm Paul Nelson. We'll see you next time. Make sure you tune in and subscribe. We out.